everyone, and welcome to our lab. My name is Andrea, and this is
Michela and
and we are both PhD students working at Uppsala University in Sweden. We work in a group of scientists that is mainly composed of toxicologists. We work at a place called the Evolutionary Biology Center in Uppsala University, and we study what chemicals can do to humans and wildlife. As you probably know, we use chemicals every day in our daily lives. Some of them may not have an effect, but some of them can be toxic for us or for the environment. But we need to evaluate how dangerous these chemicals can be for our health, or for the animals, or for the water. So when a chemical causes a negative effect that we don't want to find, we consider that that chemical is causing a toxic effect. And the science that studies these toxic effects is called toxicology.
So at this point we can do some example that you can see in your life. We know that plastic is dangerous for the environment. Of course, we know that degradation of the plastic is so hard in the environment. But this is not the only problem. This is one of our aims, to understand the real effect of the plastic, not only because it's a problem for the environment, but because it's also a problem for our health when we have the degradation of the plastic, or we have chemicals that can leave the plastic materials. In this case, we have, for example, a lot of toxic chemicals that are endocrine disruptors. In this case, they can have an effect on our body directly, and this could be a problem for us, of course, but also for the future generation where we have exposure during pregnancy, for us and also for the future generations. So it's something that we have to think when we think about plastics. This is not the only example that I can give you. Also, pesticides and other chemicals in the environment are so dangerous if we think about that. So the study of in our unit, in our program in environmental toxicology is very important to know that, to have a best understanding of the problem and to talk with the people like you or politicians or something like that to explain exactly the problem. So when we think about the effect of plastics or other chemicals in the environment, is something very, very deep that we have to understand. So in this case, I said we are in the group of environmental toxicology, and this is our aim, and we hope that our work can help for sustainability in the future environment for the future generations.
Okay, so now we will give you a small tour around the lab. In here, we work with some molecular biology techniques. We mainly look at the DNA and how our genes are affected by these chemicals. But we can also look at how these chemicals are affecting the genes in the future generations. We can see some of our colleagues working on the background. Rosalind is a master's student working with us, and she's looking at how endocrine disruptors, which are chemicals that affect the endocrine system, can affect the brain of the child. Okay, welcome to the second lab.
Yes, welcome to our lab where we do the real molecular analysis. We have different techniques that we use in this lab. For example, we can use qPCR, that is to see difference between samples, or also this spiral sequencing, another technique that we use. In our lab, we are able to analyze cell culture models and also animals that are the most used kind of approach that we have to understand the effect of chemicals in our life and in wildlife, of course. And so you can see here that we need a lot of competencies. It is a very interdisciplinary field where all the people are important. It's not only about molecular biology. We have a lot of toxicologists here, engineers, and a lot of competencies put inside of this very important field, because all the things are part of this understanding. So you can see here one part. This is exactly where I work every day to understand the effect of chemicals. But of course, we can see other labs where we use, for example, frogs, like a model where we can see the effect in wildlife, like in the real frogs, and also to understand better the effect on humans, like, of course, a model.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel, and I want to show you what I'm working here in the lab. Basically, I'm working with bacteria, very important for the environment, and I think we have everything like we need here in the lab to find out why it's so important for the environment. Here we have some images from the microscope you use, and this is basically how we made the test for the toxicity. And we use like microchips, and we analyze them with this microscope, and we can see there on the screen like how the bacteria they are looking.
So this is another example of how interdisciplinary the whole toxicology field. We work with engineers together with the people that have expertise in biology in order to understand how these materials can be used and how they affect the living creatures. But also we use them to create microchips that can be helpful for understanding more of these effects.
So thank you everyone for watching this video.
We're really grateful that you were able to join us today for a small introduction to our work and how we work in the lab. And maybe we will see one of you soon, eventually.
And if you want, you can contact us to have more information about chemicals and environment. Our building is ABC at Uppsala University, the program of environmental toxicology.
Bye.